Pakistan claims it has tested a ballistic surface-to-surface missile with a range of 450 kilometres. RT sat down exclusively with the Pakistani ambassador to Russia, who shared his insight on the current flare-up with India.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us at such a critical time for your country. Could you please tell us where we stand at this point? What is happening on the border between Pakistan and India?
First of all, thank you very much for taking me on air. India on 23rd of April announced certain measures in the backdrop of Pahalgam incident, which included the reduction of the size of the mission, closure of borders, and quite surprisingly, this time around, they put the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. Now, this calls for serious response from Pakistan, because as you know, Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960 between the two neighbors. It is an agreement on water arrangement, and under the treaty, all the western rivers' water would flow to Pakistan from north to south. And you know that 240 million people of Pakistan are mostly involved in agriculture. And this is the lifeline of Pakistan. Any attempt to usurp the water of the lower riparian, or to stop it, or to divert it, would be an act of war against Pakistan, and would be responded with full force of power, including full spectrum of power.
So a provocation is actually quite easy to happen, considering based on what you said right now.
Yeah, because what do you do when you are put into a situation? Then Pakistan would respond with full force, and as we say, that with full spectrum of power.
When we're talking about power, we heard Pakistani officials say that India could be planning an incursion, a military incursion, and that is imminent. How close are we to something like that happening? Could this potentially escalate to a full-blown war?
You know, the frenzy media of India and the irresponsible statements coming out from that side has compelled us. And there are some other leaked documents whereby it has been decided to strike certain areas of Pakistan. So that makes us to feel that this is going to happen and it's imminent. And as I said, knowing Pakistani nation, the armed forces of Pakistan, supported by people of Pakistan, we are going to respond this time, and respond with full spectrum of power.
Let's talk about how potentially dangerous the situation can be, considering that both Pakistan and India have nuclear weapons.
Yes, I agree with you. As the two countries are two nuclear power, there is all the more need to de-escalate the tensions.
How could that be achieved?
You know, we have very constructively engaged at the UN Security Council, and we have condemned this act of terrorism with fullest possible condemnation. So, and our Prime Minister, he's open to open, neutral, and credible investigations. There, I think the role of international community comes in, and in this regard, we expect that powers like China and Russia can participate in those investigations.
Now let's talk about that full force of power. If we were to compare Pakistan and India militarily, who has the upper hand?
Well, when it comes to India and Pakistan, we do not get involved into this debate of numerical strength. We in Pakistan will use the full spectrum of power, both conventional and nuclear. And I'll stop there.
You spoke earlier about the media frenzy, and as soon as this news broke out, it became breaking news around the world. And a lot of people started comparing Pakistan and India, its military capabilities, which probably worked into that media frenzy and perhaps didn't even help the situation. It created more panic in the country potentially and around the world about a war that is about to break out. Would you agree?
We hope it doesn't, and sanity would prevail, and there will be de-escalation of tensions.
Is there anyone who could potentially benefit from Pakistan and India going into a war?
I think it's not in anyone's interest to, have this war to happen, because wars, they bring only destruction, devastation, and the region, the world, they all suffer. Likewise, in many parts of the world, there are these conflicts, so even the developing world is being affected more.
Are there perhaps any local terrorists using provocations like we spoke about earlier that could lead to a full-blown war?
When such situations arise, when you have this media frenzy and belligerent statements coming out from the other side, it does have an impact on the right-wing forces of your country as well. So, it may benefit them, but I think ultimately it is between the two countries, and the tensions will have to be, reduced. There will be efforts to de-escalate the tensions.
Well, let's hope that both sides will work towards de-escalating the tensions. Your Excellency, thank you so much for bringing us up to date with what is happening in Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you very much.